So welcome to the Donny Chaingang. We're just having a little bit of a late start, a couple of tech issues on the way through, things that we're looking to address. We want to say a massive thank you to everybody who has helped us out over the past few weeks. We're looking to make sure that everything streams out and runs as it should, but always subject to tech niggles on the way through. Now, as Russell explained, this is to me previously, and I'm going to relay to you because Russ is right in the middle of the ride. This is to celebrate, of course, the Monsal Hillclimb. Don't forget you can go onto the Dan YouTube channel to get a look at all of the footage from Russ riding up the Monsal Hillclimb. We're heading out onto the course, and as our riders are on the way round, let's bring you a quick view of the course. And this is the map. It's London Loop plus Boxhill finish. It's the shortest way round. You can see our blue dot just travelling on its way into the climb. Our riders on the way up that red section of climbing, just coming around that top loop there on the way into the top section. They're going to drop down the far side and back round. We've got 2.5 laps of this 15k circuit. It makes well over 600 metres of climbing, and we're going to finish on top of Boxhill on the third ascent of it, third ascent of Boxhill. So we're going to go in and join the riders in a second. This is Boxhill for you. Massive thank you to Bellevue who have done the business before and do it again, and that is what we're looking for as the riders head out onto the circuit. So looking good at the moment. So let's see how those riders are doing. Let's take a little bit of a view up from the eye in the sky, and let's see what the drone camera is going to be able to tell us about how those riders are getting on as we take a little bit of a look. Looks a little bit strung out at the moment. We are just up and over the top, so let's drop in and across to the Donny Chaingang. So here we go. The riders up and over the top of the climb for the first time, and you can see at the moment everybody just trying to keep that pace a little bit steady on the way up and over. If we zoom out, we can just see the yellow and red beacons just trying to close in on that group up at the front. A 10-minute time at the moment for the riders going up and over. So let's see how these riders get on. Looks like we just crashed in the very top of the hill. It's actually after the climb time, and that is the climb over the top that makes the as you climb over the top, you've got a little bit of a descent and then a second kicker just to take you back onto this descent. It's a big descent, and this is all about being able to back the pressure off. Everybody needs to be just taking it nice and steady here, because that way we're going to be able to see our riders getting back together again. You can see the gaps really have opened up. I'm just going to jump in with Chris Pritchard, one of the regular riders in the group, and as you can see, lots of people stopping pedaling and getting a free ride down by using the super tuck position. 58 kilometers an hour, less than steeper gradient than 3%, and that gets you straight down the side nice and comfortably. So looking good at the moment, and our riders dipping back down again, and they've got a long descent, as you can see from the map. If we zoom out, they're going to be around these twists and turns for a while yet before they drop down. Chris Pritchard, you can see, with no power being kicked out. Will Burfeld just rolling on in the group there, just trying to close that gap down. Will in his GB kit, and you can just see him across to the side there, and a big shout out to just take it nice and easy. Behind you can just see all these riders coming in and through. Imogen Wolf, another of our regular younger riders, just in the in the black and yellow. Looks like Toby Perry is back with us once again, and Toby, one of our regulars in the ride. Looks like Matlock's back in again. It's good to see him. Rick King is back in as well. John Hind is here. He's made the way in, going from the muscle mechanic. Shelley J. Leo's good here. So good to see Judy come back in. Russ, of course, leading them through. We're just taking a little bit of look. Lots of our regulars here. We're just going to take a little bit of look. The group just going to start to bind back together again. We're just going to need to get the whole group back in again. can see down and in towards the lower sections, just making the way into towards the tunnels here. And then you're going to be back into London to complete lap number 1. Nearly all the group back together again, so the splitting and regrouping all nearly done here. So the riders coming through here looking super smooth at the moment. They're going to take that left hand turn and up onto the elevators. These are absolutely brutal. If we drop alongside, you can see just how steep these things are. It is a horrible, horrible section of the climb up here, and you've got to really hammer out the watts up there to get over the top. You can see it just dropping away behind this group of riders, and it has really strung the group out as they start to make their way out from the circuit. So riders just started to head out onto the streets of London here and head back over Tower Bridge, the familiar landmark to so many people. So it will be to Brian Smithy, Bray on the Chaingang once again. Good to see Nick Dorsey's on here as well. And the front nicely blobbing up into a group. Not too many people hammering off the front. Just the red beacon just a little bit further back at the moment. And just taking a little bit of a look back, you can just see the yellow beacon of Russ in the centre. The yellow beacon is a chevron because we're right next to him. The red beacon means he's further away and he's just got to claw back onto the group. We're about to come past what's called the spawning point, and that is where you are brought onto circuit, and that is the chevrons. You can just see them if we zoom out a little bit here. They're just up at the top. There's a little orange triangle in one of them. The guys about to come around and take a left-hand turn, go past where they came up. So it's not going to be long before they manage to get themselves in, take that left-hand turn around the side here of the Tower of London. Lots of great views all the way around London, and one of the great advantages with this fantastic platform is that you get such realistic views of the entire area, and certainly looking good at the moment as they come round. Quick questions coming up. Luke Taylor is sprinting this lap. I think not somehow, because there's not a lot of point. You're not going to get a sprint points going through. We don't go through any of the sprints on this circuit. It's all about the hills today, and of course it would have been the 90th Monsal Hillclimb. I'm just got to say commiserations to Mark and all of the gang for not being able to put it on this year. It's a fantastic event, and not happening this year. One of the many events that have been fallen victim to the restrictions due to COVID, and certainly having the crowds. If you've ever been on the Monsal Hillclimb, there's certainly no social distancing if you're in that crowd. If you want to get to the barriers, you've got to get up close and personal, that is for sure. Now we're just keeping an eye on our riders all the way through. Chris from the Alliance MTB is there. If you are one of our female riders, Chris got a women's coaching session at Sure Pines very shortly, and one of the coaches on the Chaingang regularly. He's going to be pulling the riders together and running through those skills at Sure Pines. It's going to be really interesting to see how our riders get on. Plenty of the guys are going to be on the coaching course, but this is a women's specific one, and that isn't too far away. Just keeping an eye out for some of our riders who've been supporting us, and just see Gary the muscle mechanic is here. He's one of our regular supporters, and just riding along rather nattily in that bright kit. Looks like he's gone for a nice lightweight bike as well, and some really interesting choices here, because some of the riders are riding something very, very quick on the flat, other people riding something that's maybe a little bit more suited to the climbs. Bryce Smithy on the standard Swift Aero bike, but you can see he's got some deep rims in there. Bryce Smithy, you may have heard of Bryce Smith. He's the man who, on the couch with Bradley Wiggins. Yeah, you know the one. More importantly, he's also twice national road champion. He is a former multi-year, multi-decade professional. He is also one of the most insightful commentators and pundits on TV, and great to have Brian back on the Chaingang again. Now taking a little bit of a look who else we've got. Looks like Mike Selkeld is back in with us. I haven't seen Mike for a while. Let's see if we can get hold of Mike and see if he's in the group. He's usually in black somewhere. Here we go. Here's Mike riding at the moment, and nicely controlled bunch here. If we zoom in on the top right hand side of the screen, you can see Mike riding along on the Chaingang, currently kicking 56 kilometers per hour. That's 162 watts, so he's now just pushing up to nearer the 200 as they march along. And it's looking like the group is rather motoring at the moment. We're just going to take a little bit of a look back, and I think the two beacons are just sitting off the back at the moment, just trying to keep some kind of hold on this group. And I think Russ probably going to be pulling our red beacon back in Martin Bolt, our regular red beacon. Now, for those of you wondering what we've got in store, we are planning on upgrading a number of things. One of those is going to be able to be broadcasting on multiple platforms, quite simply because it does cut down the chances of us having a dropout on all of them at once. And that's partly why we've been looking to improve what we do. Also looking to get slightly better software into the setup, which will allow us not just to bring you these fantastic shots of all of our riders, but also to have backup machines running, which gives us then the options of multiple streams coming out, which will enable us to give you more reliable coverage as well. Still not going to change the essence of it, which is of course all about making sure that we support our riders on the way around. A big family. Russ and I set this up when we first started working on this. It was always Russ's dream to put the Chaingang on. We've set it up to give people the opportunity to ride with pros like Will Bergfeld, who's on the Chaingang now. Everybody from Tony Fletcher through the current national champions, past riders like Malcolm Elliott has been riding. It really is a who's who to get out there and ride. A real big family who looks around for everybody else. And as you can see, this group is looking really, really good at the moment, and trying to hold everybody together is a tricky job. And that's Russ's role in this, amongst others, as well as getting the rides onto Zwift. And certainly looking like he's doing a great job of holding pretty much everybody in that bunch at the minute. We're just going to take a look. I think at the moment, from front to back, we have about an 8-second gap from top to bottom. Now, we've been round the circuit once. We're about to come up and into the climb which we're on at the moment. This is going to take us into Trafalgar Square, another classic landmark within London. At the moment, a little bit quieter than maybe it has been in previous years, but as you can see, these guys are working well at the moment. Looks like Blackford in with this group once again. Just going to take a little bit of a zoom in, usually in the blue, white and black, and once again Mel riding strongly up near the front of this group. As you can see, looks like Hawkins is back in again, Ian Legg back with us, Shelley Childs as well, back once again. Chamberlain, of course, a regular. Billy No Makes is in here, and Billy, another of our regular riders. Great to see he's back with us, and Billy No Makes going to be looking to see where he ends up as we make our way around. Just taking a few dives around the corner, and I think pretty much everybody holding together. Looks like one rider just popping a little bit off the front here, and just pushing on maybe a little bit hard for the rest of the group. That's going to make life a little bit difficult for everybody else behind. So it looks like Hurst at the moment is the man who is just starting to dish with us. People, and Kai Hurst at the moment not going to get any support from that big group behind. It shows you there's no point in going hard. He's doing nearly 4 watts per kilo. The group behind is doing 2.5, and they're closing him down. And it shows you just why you want to sit on here in with a group, because it makes absolutely all the difference. Phil Ozike just rolling past there at 1.8 watts per kilo, and that is quite simply because he's taking it nice and steady, and he came through with that bunch and that's allowed him to take that aerodynamic drag and just go flying through. So at the moment our riders around the London Loop of time around there for our leader on the London Loop is 27:35, so the Musette Cafe would have come from the back to the front to do that kind of time. So just shy of 28 minutes for the lap. Looks like the red beacon just being distanced a little bit again, and that is going to be Martin Bolt. Could well be that Bolt is just hanging back for a ride. Let's take a little bit of a check on that as the riders make the way through. You can see the messages coming out from Russ non-stop. Martin Bolt at the moment we're on at 2.5 watts per kilo, covered 20k so far of the 40k distance. So we're at halfway around, just having covered the requisite numbers of laps, 1.25 laps on the way through. And the guys chatting away in the group, which is what we want to see. Good to see Mr. Gibbons is back in again. Let's take a little bit of a look in here. I think he's in his usual, he is, look at this, in the traditional kit of the Z Peugeot inspired kit. Looking like he's riding strongly once again. Nicely in the middle of this group, towards the front. Usually sits in the front third when you see him, and he's certainly working well at the moment. Now, in we go. We're going to be dropping down the escalators very shortly. Off the edge of the world we go, down into the depths of the underground, and we're going to be heading in and along those tunnels very, very shortly. You can see our riders whipping around these corners here, and it is super, super fast as we drop into the tunnels, and the group is working hard. So we're going to see how they get on. Just a little bit of a whip back around, and a couple of riders now starting to, I think, go off the back a little bit at the moment. I'm not sure that everybody is steamed off the back though, because just going to drop in with Martin Bolt. His beacon is almost always going to be in. We're just going to see where Martin is at the moment. Yeah, Martin's got a little group around him. Looks like Carl Johnson just a little bit further behind. He's currently working his way in. Looks like Miller, Oxenham and Riddler just in front. And these this group just distanced a little bit off the main group. Top right hand side of your screen you'll see the main pack with the yellow beacon just about to go around the roundabout and up onto the hill for the second time. The red beacon, this is currently Martin Bolt. He is chasing into that roundabout. He does have some company there, and that's going to be Miller. So let's have a little look. Miller is in here as well. It looks like the Riddler just a little bit further up the road here. Now Riddler always going to be in with a shout, and just taking a little bit of a look there. He's got company. Simon Oxenham is one of our fast riders, and at the moment the two riders you can just see here are absolutely hammering. And a quick reminder from Russ, we do indeed have a finish at the very top of the hill next time round, but a full lap from when we reach the top of the hill to the bottom before to get back round to the climb. Now Martin Bolt at the moment looks like Miller and Gibbons in front, and just got one or two riders coming on from behind. We're just going to take a little bit of a look. Looks like Paul Dickinson just distanced a little bit on this climb, just going up on to the main section. Take that right hand turn. This bank is incredibly steep when you go up here. And you do the turn, you can really feel it kicking in, not just because you dug into the tarmac, but also because it is really, really tough stuff. Rich Orrell just in front. Good to see Rich back on the chain gang again. And you just see Rich just starting to push on here with 4 watts per kilo, and he's looking to close those gaps down. It's starting to string out, but Russ up on the front. You can see that yellow beacon right on the front, and then take a little bit of a look back. You can just see that Bolt just sitting near the back of this group at the moment. So at the moment it is Bolt and Miller. This next group is Dickinson, Rich Orrell, Craig Herring in here. Now Craig is one of our super fast sprinters, usually one of our fastest riders. Let's see if he's just having an off day. He is super fast normally, and I think he's just going to be helping the riders back on. That's what we love to see on the chain gang, our riders working together to pull that group back as one. Gibbons just in front, looks like Whitehead, Crichton there, the muscle mechanic in here. The guys are still rolling along nice and smoothly, and so we just take that little bit of a look back. Let's go just jump up with Colin Bell. Colin Bell beating from Cycleways. He's up here in his traditional kit. Yep, and just remembering to rehydrate, always important as you go up here. But as you can see, kind of one of our larger riders, a muscle-packed avatar there, and that means that as we go up the hillside, those forearms are not going to be helping him as he makes his way up the hillside. Now Russ looks like he's right up the front. If we take a little bit of a look up with the map, we're just starting to get strung out here. It's just starting to get tricky. So Russ up at the front, it looks like Bolt at the back. So at the back, and it is about 15 seconds to the back of the main group. Bolt at the back. Then it's going to be Hill just in front. Miller in the blue. So Miller just working just in front there. The gap then is 11 seconds from Miller to Dickinson. Dickinson with Beefy from Cycleways. Rich are all in this same group as well. Whitehead just in front here, just in that red, white and black kit on the Pinarello bike there, and rolling along nicely. Some slightly lighter wheels in there, you can tell by the profile on the side. And then it's got Crichton in front. Then it's Chris Heseltine James from the Alliance MTB squad. He's our next rider up on the climb here. As you take a look back, you just see the eye in the distance. If we spin this around behind, now going up around the side of him, just see MH up in front, Muscle Mechanic, Donnelly's up there, Pritchard's up there. We're trying to work our way up through this group. Then it's going to be Keane, followed by Hurst. Gibbons is up here. Andy Hawes is in this group as well. Donny Hughes in here. Now, Horsey, always one of our key riders, and he's a man who knows how to organise. He's been Finnish manager and route manager for the Tour of Britain more times than he or I probably care to remember. And usually a good group will form around Andy. Now let's see if he can close that gap down on Shelley Charles. Charles is just in front. If we take a look back behind Shelley, you can just see that group coming with Herring and Gibbons, just help him pull it back in. Now, Maddie Smith, who's racing at the weekend on the podium, a 5-second place at the National Trophy Cyclocross in category, riding here in the red and white. And at the moment, Maddie Smith on to a turn here up onto the climb, about halfway through the pack at the moment. Just take a little bit of a look in front. Shelley Charles just in front, Bryce Smithy in front, Mr. Catley's up here, so John Catley just in front. I'm just going to take a look up in the SAS kit here. Another rider whose avatar shows Popeye style forearms. That's going to make things interesting. Lone rider at the moment, not right at the front for a change. Looks like Noble. Crehan, Trevor Crehan's in this group here. And again, Trevor sitting in here at the moment. We're going to see if he manages to keep it in. You can just see that red beacon is in the distance behind. Currently down the back of the group. He's the other side of the hairpin turn. A couple of riders behind him, and you just see this is the main group up in front. This is going to be the second of our climbs up here. And we're just going to jump in with Kooslugs here because Michael Hutch is one of our regular riders. He's always in the group. He's there or thereabouts. Really lightweight. This is actually the lightest setup you can get on the Zwift at the moment. Lighter than the concept bikes. The frame and wheel combination is the lightest virtual bike in the game. And if you want the one that's going to give you the most advantage up the hill, that is it, folks. Take a look. Make sure you get it on if you need to get yourself up the hill. Now, just going to jump in with another rider who we know very well. This is Steve James. Great to see Steve in here. A man who's got the skills to pay the bills. Very, very good mountain bike. I had the pleasure of watching him race in the National Series, riding for Hope in the mountain bike. Very handy rider indeed, and definitely not one to be discounted when it comes in here, because he is absolutely as fast comes when it goes. Now, let's have a little bit of a look up the road. Let's see who is up. Looks like Chris Gale is up here. Tunnicliffe, John Hind is up here. Let's have a little look. We've got the Fat Cyclist, of course, one of our regular winners. He was pretty much unbeatable for a while. Will that be the case today? He's dropped some weight. He's on that lightweight setup again. You can see he knows the score. He's picked the lightest bike because his strength is in the power. It's in the sprints. It's not in the climbing. But if you've got lots of power, you can get away with being a slightly bigger rider, but you've got to be able to get it down onto the course. Just in front, is Millie Skinner riding very strongly here today. She's riding, I don't think she's too far away from somebody who's clearly changed to the other side of the pond, because Gail Phillips at the moment, currently riding in an American flag. I didn't realise Gail was from the United States. That is news to me. Sheffield resident, of course, part of the team putting on the Cookney Time Trials. So, riders coming up to the top for the second time. They're soon going to be in and around the group. Now, let's take a little bit of a look. Let's try and jump in with Russ, which is easier said than done. Into the group with Russ we go. Russ now moving his way over. Let's see how people are going. We're not too far spread out. We're only a K of the climb or so that we're spread over, so it's not a huge distance. Let's see if the guys are going to be able to hold this together, because as you can see, we're currently at 0 gradient. Russ just rolling along nicely. Some new PBs set up here for the climb up Boxhill here. The guys on the front just having to back off a little bit. Looks like James Allen, a 7:42 up there, and James, one of our regular riders, as our drone gets lost in the undergrowth out there. Thinking it's doing an episode of Gardener's World, not the Donny Chaingang. So the group is split. It's fairly spread out, it has to be said. We didn't expect anything else at this stage, I'll be honest. We've got the beacon is just coming up to the banner at the moment, as Russ and the gang up on the very front are going to be going up over the top of the group. And you can see a few people speculating we're going to see Russ shout the word to go. Not happened as yet. Let's see if that continues to be the case. Just taking a little bit of a look back, you can just see as we roll over the top, we go on to 4%. Now, if people are holding the pace high here, they're going to be burning energy at the moment, with the group doing about 3.5 watts per kilo. As we go up over the top, it'll be very easy to sit there, drop into a super tuck. We're doing 75 kph, minus 8%. One rider at the moment just opened a little bit of a gap at the front, and that looks like it just stretched it out. Looks like it's Darryl Clark who's managed to go off the front. Darryl, of course, one of our regular super fast riders, but we're going to see if he's back in this group. Looks like he's back with us, just dropping out of the group there. So back to the start line. Somebody stranded there. That'd be me. Can't ride and commentate, that is for sure. Now this group is holding together. We're just with Clark at the minute in this long strung outline. The drone's fighting to keep up with the riders on the way down, a bit like a motorbike on an alpine descent. You can see lots of people in that super tuck position at the moment, and these guys doing that are saving energy. They're not having to pedal. The only thing is, it's hard work actually to stay in with the group and pick it up at the right time. Your legs tend to go numb if you do it for too long. If you've done the Alp de Zwift on the Watopia course, if you go up there and you then freewheel all the way back down, you've been freewheeling for about 6 or 7 minutes, not pedaling, and then you have to put another effort in. That is really, really hard to do, and that's something that our riders are generally going to have to watch out for. We've rolled off the top, we've rolled down into the bottom. There is still a big group all together here. This is a big sized bunch at this stage. Now, just taking a little bit of a look back, we're going to try and jump off the map a little bit here. It looks like those gaps are really strung out. The distances now are pretty substantial as our riders head into the tunnel. Front of the group to the very back of the ride at the moment, and that is 5 minutes in total. So Martin Bolt's at the moment bringing up the rear. We're about to come round to complete lap number 2. It's not going to be long, and the guy's still chatting away in this group. Just going to jump in with George Cooper, one of our younger riders here. He's in and riding, I think, just in the camo there. He is indeed in the camo. I'm just about to pick him out in between the spinning drone. And looks like at the moment George Cooper sitting in with the group. We're going to go up on to the climb. Just see some of our regulars here. Looks like Rob Copeland is in with the group. Big watts having to come out from people up on here to keep in with the group. As you can see, a big kick just to get him up and over the top here. And Phil Ozake is in the group here, and just having a little bit of a look here. Now we've got over 5 minutes from front to back of this group. It looks to me like the red beacon up on the top of the hill as the leaders come in and through the bottom. It is definitely near 6 minutes now from the front to the back of the group. That is a long way down. The question is, who is going to be awake enough when it's called to go? It's not long, I don't think, to see where they are. You just see James Allen wanting to work the climbers over here. This leading group has got some bigger sprinters, some faster riders. Just going to drop in with Andy Bishop, who's right up on the front here. And the go has gone now. The pressure is on. So the signal to give it some beans is on there. And straight away, you can see we've got riders going to be pushing it off the front of the group here. And I think that's going to be the fat cyclist who's gone for it with about 9 watts per kilo. He's really trying to string it out there. He doesn't want to tow the climbers to the back. He has well and truly gone. And he doesn't want to tow the climbers to the hill. He's one of our bigger riders now. This is where the rulers, the power riders, those riders who can roll it along at pace, are going to be giving it some stick, trying to break this group up. You can just see Clark coming over the top here. And he is just starting to string it out on the front here. OZK in this group looks like Doughty, Robson, Tunnicliffe. Looks like Rob Copeland in this group as well. Stringer is here. Lindley's here. These riders are regulars. It looks like who else has made this? James Allen has made the group. Will Bergfeld is in this group. Looks like Matthews is here as well. Let's just drop in with Bergfeld. He's a good man to follow at this stage. He's not a man I would expect to get dropped at any stage, and could well be in at the kill at the very end of the chase all the way up. This is the leading pack. This is who is going to be stringing it out at the moment. And as you can see, James Allen now going for it. James Allen has pushed on here, and he's trying to work the pack over at the front of the group. Now, if you're distanced at this stage, key is to make sure that what you do is drop into a group. You can see how much easier it is. James Allen doing 5 watts per kilo, not going clear of the group behind that is doing 3.5 to 4 watts per kilo. It's absolutely critical that you keep in a group if you want to keep your legs in one piece, and that is the smart way to ride. Question is, can Allen break the climbers out? He's not particularly the best climber, and he's not the best sprinter, but he's a rider who goes very, very hard from a long way out and has the potential to break them. One of these days he's going to put in a breakaway win that he's not going to be touched, and I think there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that when that happens. Behind him you can see 3 seconds to Elder Manaki, Bishop, King. Looks like Dorsey's in here as well. Burke's in there, Dobson, Thornley, Jono. It really is a who's who of the riders who are at the front of the group. Really interesting to see the guys are on the way through. We're going to finish at the top of the climb, and that's where we're going to be calling those positions in. Looks like the groups behind us starting to form. So as the leading group makes its way down this straight, and it is a pretty substantial group at the moment. You can see it's about 30 riders strong. Let's take a jump back to where our next group are, and let's see if we can pick up the second group on the road. I think they're about 26 seconds down. I'm going to jump in with Matthias here. So Matthias currently with Reed and Emsley, and they are currently our 3 riders in group number 2. And as you can see from the view above, they've got a little gap in front of them to Mr. James, Steve James, and Cooper and co. Now behind them, I think it's going to be Fraser behind. He's got company with Struan McInnes. Struan, again, another of our really strong riders when we started the Chaingang at the moment. Maybe not doing as many rides as we've seen, and he's the sort of rider who we would see there. The question is he going to be able to hold it? We've got shouts of attack on the front. Let's jump back up. I don't think there's anybody giving it attack at the minute. They can't afford to. I think everybody's trying to save their strength. So at the moment, you can just see riders starting to be distanced. If we drop back in with that group 2, this is the second group on the road. Fraser is in Number 3's got Stuart McInnes and himself chasing, then it is in 1s and 2s. So Stanyland at the moment, he's about 40 seconds down on the main group. He's got groups behind him now. This looks like AD Denture's got Gail Phillips and Millie Skinner. A real family affair there from the 3 riders. So Dench there in the bikes and beer, Gail Phillips in the blue and Millie Skinner in the green at the moment. They've got Kooslugs coming up and John Hind. Here comes the group. You can just see this is a nice big pack picking them up here. We're going to take a little bit of a look into this group because I think we've got more than necessarily the normal riders that we would see in here. And it's certainly looking super smooth on the way through. So it looks like Gail Phillips in here. This is a really good little group actually. I'm so really pleased to see that it's formed so fast. So you can just see all these riders going along smooth, very smoothly indeed. So just keeping an eye on all of them, just seeing just how quickly they can roll their way through here. So David Dill just rolling his way up onto the front, one of our lighter riders. Still on deep rims though. Binchie's in here, John Hurt in here now. It's dropped to the next group back. I think this is going to be Josh Bird's group. Here we are. This is the next group back down that road. And as you can see, it's Kai Hurst, Dave Fulton in here. It's got Bradley Atkinson. We've got all in this group. Holmes is in here as well. Group behind, that's going to be the group with Luke Taylor, the man responsible for Oakley August from the 1080 shop, one of our key supporters through the summer in the quieter months. Then behind him you can just see Andy at the moment on his way through here. Andy G along with Mr Dunn and Trevor Crehan as well. Behind him then is Catley. Catley has got company in the shape of Hawkins. And if we just zoom out, I think Mr Gibbons is in there as well. So Gibbons is in this group, and they are currently chasing along the side of the river before the roads turn off and start heading back down from Trafalgar Square, heading back towards Parliament once again. But the gaps are pretty big. We're talking about 3.5 minutes back at the moment to Gibbons. Let's take a little bit of a jump back in with the lead group. We're just going to jump right back up to the front. And let's just see who is winding up. What a surprise. James Allen on the front with a little group just starting to form around him. Now, interesting to see Simon Oxenham and the Fat Cyclist. These are our 3 riders. They're 3 riders who we know are going to want to rip it up. The Fat Cyclist and James Allen are some of our quick ones, and you can just see a little bit of damage being done on that hillside. The climb up Northumberland Avenue has split this group a little bit. So we've got 3 riders 2 seconds clear. Then we've got the main chasing pack, and then riders in 2s and 3s. Riders struggling at the moment at the back of that group. Well, that includes what looks to be Darren Hull, Richie Proven, Jez Elder, Ryan Williams. I can't imagine Ryan is struggling. He's got to be one of the riders we expect to be in here. He's taken wins in London before. Ryan is here in the blue Sigma Sport. He's glued to the wheel of Bergfeld here. I wonder whether he's just planning on tracking him all the way onto the climb. He's got to be one of those riders you know he's going to be giving it beans. Looks like Russ dropping to the front now. So it is Russ who's moved to the front. We're going to see what time they do up the hill. At the moment, James Allen's time is the time to beat. That's a 7:42.2. So 7:42.2. James Allen, the leading men's time up there at the moment. And he's just diving down into the underpass here with the rest of the pack. They're going to be heading around this turn, and Ryan Williams at the moment just glued to the back of this bunch. He's not doing too much work. He's going to be saving a lot of energy. You can see on the right hand side of your screen Ryan Williams just pushing up now, doing nearly 5 watts per kilo. Stringer's gone on the front to wind it up. Cassie's up there as well. Clark is holding it. It is certainly being ripped up, that is for sure. And looks like Ryan just not wanting to drop too far off the back of the pace. The Fat Cyclist is currently saying no, he's not enjoying it. Well, I'm not surprised. He's one of our bigger riders. It's going to get pretty brutal as we go up on to the climb. The question is, who's going to be able to hold the pace of the big guns when they come out to play? Bergfeld's got to be one of those riders now. We're heading for the 1 hour mark, and Mark Chamberlain just saying he's toast. He's still going well, but it's 1 hour of riding. We are now 1.9k to the top of the course. Who is it going to be? Who's going to take this on? Looks like the fat cyclist getting some sliding room in here. He goes through across the line first here. Now, who will be able to string this out for the win? We're going to drop back to all of our groups once we get these guys in and across the line. Looks like Darrell Clark now going up onto the front. He's the man who's just pulled himself up onto the front of the group. Is he going to be the man who's going to take this clear? So he was one of our really regular fast riders in London. We saw him a lot during the initial lockdown. He's had the summer occasionally riding, but let's see how they go now. Mark Chamberlain just stolen the virtues of Wahoo and the kicker. The Wahoo kit definitely is a little bit getting used to when you go to a direct drive from a snap-on, a rear tyre driven turbo, but you know what, you wouldn't ever go backwards. You've done it for a little while now. Question is Mr. Clark going to be holding this? Is he adjusted to his turbo? Is he able to hold them clear? He's kicking out 6.7 watts per kilo at the moment. They're onto this big section of the hillside here, and at the moment, as you can see with London in the background, they are rolling up this hill at a fair pace, 25 kilometers per hour at the moment. And Darrell Clark looking smooth. He's got a gap on the rest of the riders. Where is everybody else? They're being led now by Toby Parry, the Toba rider. Rick King from the MTS Cycles. Ryan Williams is a little further back. I'm just going to drop in with Ryan now, I think. So let's see if Ryan is going to push on to get to them. So at the moment it's Clark on the front, Perry in second, King in third. In fourth place in the blue is Ryan Perry. Then it's Jono, followed by Stringer, Doughty, Bergfeld, Cass. Downey now starting to push up as well. I think they've seen the danger. Toby Perry just starting to push clear here. And Perry at the moment, the Downey Cycling coached rider, kicking out just close to 6 watts per kilo, which is a serious amount of power on what is a brutal slope. And if you look back, you can see those gaps are opening up here. It looks like Williams is now at 6 seconds. Clark is 3 seconds in front. And time will run out for these riders. They can't afford to leave it too long. At the moment, Clark, the man who has taken victories before, it looks like he's got a set of seriously lightweight wheels on there. Yep, Manstein lightweight wheels on. He's on the Canyon Aero frame, which isn't the lightest frame, but it's clearly working for him. Behind him then in second place at 4 seconds is Toby Parry. Parry's at 4 seconds. Then it's Stringer. Stringer behind, leading this group through, and it's Stringer from Nova, and he is currently leading it up there, but he's got 17 seconds to Clark and 11 seconds to Perry. And these 4 riders, Stringer, Nova from the Nova, then Jono coming round him here. So the guys are really working hard here, and the feather is on there. Let's see how they're going. It is going to have to be a big effort, because Clark is now at 20 seconds, 13 seconds in front is Perry. Stringer, Jono, Rick King, Ryan Williams in this group. It looks like Rob Copeland leading the charge behind with Bergfeld, and this group could make it there. The question is, have they got the power to do this? I'm not sure that they have. They're leaving it late. Doughty of Tritor in the black with the white shoulders, multicoloured bands in the middle. Bergfeld in the GB kit. Then it's Russ Downing with the Downing Cycling kit in the beacon over his head. Rob Copeland is here in the grey as well. Looks like James Allen in with this group. Allen now using the power up here to get himself up and through. James, of course, our standing leader when Russ was away. Behind him then you can just see here they're in 1s and 2s here. Looks like the Riddler's blown, looks like the Fat Cyclist is blown, Lindley's gone, Kirkpatrick's gone, Bishop's gone, Manicky's gone. It all chasing this leading group. And if we drop up with Clark now, Clark is extending his lead up at the front here. So Clark is 10 seconds up on Perry, who's the only rider who's going to be in danger of closing him down. You can see how close to the top they are. If you look at the very bottom of the map square, you can just see the beacon and our leading rider just coming up to the level section of this course. And when that happens, he's only got to get around this horseshoe turn that you can see at the top. So one more right hand turn and the horseshoe, and he's going to be there. And at the moment, nobody can touch this man. He is absolutely flying. If we drop our camera around so it's looking backwards, Back behind him, that's the gap. You can just about make out Perry 14 seconds down. So Perry's 14 seconds down. Clark is in front of him, and Clark is still putting on the pressure here. 6 watts per kilo as it's going to level out. It's at 4%, 6% at the moment, but it soon will clear, and he's soon going to be rolling his way into that finish along the level section. Here he comes. It's leveling out 3%, 2%, 1%. He's going to be on 0 very shortly. Onto the turn he comes. Here he comes. He's on his way in. He's not got far to go. Perry's now at 19 seconds behind. And it's going to be Clark who is going to take victory here. Left-hand turn to go. And it's slight drop down now. It's -1, -3%. And it's going to be Darrell Clark who's going to take this. He's putting the feather in. He doesn't need it. He's going to roll in through the gantry. Absolutely storming around. And through he goes. Taking victory is Darrell Clark by 23 seconds. Setting a new PB of 5 minutes and 54 through. Here comes Perry now. There's Perry on his way into the line. Perry's going to come through second. So a 5 minute 48 second for Clark. What's Perry going to do here? He's going to beat his 8 minutes. He's got a new PB with 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Behind him then, it's Downing. It's Russ Downing who's leading this out. But he's got company here from Rain, and Russ is having to squeeze the gas here. You can see the gantries coming. Who's it going to be? Bergfeld's going to roll him. Oh, he rolls him on the line. Bergfeld takes 3rd place. It's Downing in 4th. Ryan Williams coming through in 5th place. Allen I think in 6th. But look at all the PBs coming through here now. Now, Ozak leading the next pair in here. He's just in front of Matthews, and he's going to get this. So Phil Ozak is going to come through at the front of this group. He takes it then from Matthews and Cass. Behind Tunnicliffe just coming into the line. He is also coming through, and I think another PB for him. Next up is Burke. He's coming down to the line. Everybody hammering through. Everybody getting PBs here. Through goes Burke, and another fast time, another PB, sub 7 minutes for him. Riddler's going to come through. Will he manage to get through? Wow, Riddler goes through, new PB for him. 7 minutes, 7 seconds, fat cyclist on his way. Will he get that PB? Through the line he goes, and the fat cyclist goes through, and another PB. They're absolutely coming in thick and fast. Linley's next in with Manakee on his wheel. It's going to be Linley, followed by Manakee, followed by Kirkpatrick, then Bishop. Again, another reigning session with PBs raining down on everybody. Fastest times for everybody. Simon Oxenham's the next man in and through. It's then Thornley who's coming through behind. And again, more PBs for Elder, for Mel Blackford. Andy Singleton on his way into the line with this group of 3 riders here. And it's Singleton. It's going to be Russell from Moda who's going to take this. I think it is Russell from Moda takes it. Moda takes it. So Russell, then Billy Nomeeks and Singleton all getting PBs on the way through. Down to Hull from Fusion. He's going to roll on through the line. Does he set a new PB? He certainly does. Sub 8 minutes. Then it's going to be George Cooper. Cooper Norbert at the front of the fairs today, but looking good on his way in. And George Cooper goes through. Another fastest time for him as well. Now it's going to be Kenny Goddard. It's going to be our man from Johnson Wheelers. And the 3 of them are going through. And another fast set of times in there. Goddard is through. Gale on this climb. They've done it as well. It looks like Woodall's through. Nick Dorsey on his way to the line. He's going to be our next rider through the line. So Nick Dorsey goes through the line. And absolutely backing off on those last few metres. And I don't blame him. Nick's one of our larger riders, it has to be said. And he was talking to me earlier on. Not necessarily the course suited him. Greg Thornley comes through. Then it's going to be another of our Johnson Wheelers. Looks like Sheriff's on his way through. He's going to come through that line. New PR for him. Struan McInnes is going to be our next rider through. Struan, one of our regular riders, taking wins before being really strong. Is he going to set a PB up the climb this time? Good question. He's on his way. Is he going to make it count? He certainly does as he goes through now. Genther goes through. Steve James gets a PB. Eddie Dench does. Reed does. Is Noble going to get a brand new one as well? Here he comes, Noble leading the next duo. Him and Foster through the line with I think it is going to be another set of PBs. John Hine coming through for a PB through North Adventure Cooslogs. What's Michael Hutchinson going to do? Is he going to get a new PB up through here? Pushing 3 watts per kilo, now up to nearly 4 watts per kilo. Is he going to make it in as he goes through the line? Will it be a new PB for Michael? It certainly is. Another PB, 8 minutes and 4. Behind him, then it's Diddle. Diddle comes through. And Flanders Fraser as well. We're going to go back for Hussein with Gail Phillips. And I think Gail is going to take the fastest women's prize up there. Next through is going to be Binchy on his way to the line here. Just ahead of Matthias. Matthias rolling in strong here. And I think behind Matthias you can just see Sam Emsley's giving it some here. Is Emsley going to roll him on the line? I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. So Matthias goes through, followed by Emsley. Then it's going to be the next year. This is the man from Musette Cave plus Mr. Stellingland. Bradley Atkinson through with a new PB. Lee Allen on his way in through the line. Kai Hurst goes through. Kai Hurst gets that confetti cannon snowing down on him. Next up is going to be Bird. Bird rolling his way into the line. Really kicking down hard with nearly 6 watts per kilo. So here he goes. Next up we're looking for Pines. So it is the man from Pine Cycles now pushing into towards the line. 4 watts per kilo as comes into towards the line. Is it going to be a new PB up and over the top? It wasn't 8:09 the time. That last time up and through. It was 8:09. Pine Cycles goes through. Not beating the time that time. I think staying with that leading group just costing him on his way in now. Dave Fulton is at the front of a fairly big run of riders here. So we'll try and make sure we cover everybody on the way into the line. So Dave Fulton's followed by Gibbons, Trehan, Holmes, Hawkins and Taylor. And as he comes into the line, Fulton kicking out just over 3 watts per kilo. And you can just see Gibbons is coming behind him here. He's trying to close him down. Fulton's going to come through, followed by Gibbons. Gibbons on his way in through the line. Gibbons gets a new PB as well. Fantastic time by him. Trevor Crehan and Mr. Holmes going through. Then Luke Taylor on his way through. He's through the line with Hawkins. Dickinson's going to be our next rider on his way in. He's got Kneen on his wheel as well. Kneen just coming around the outside here. So Kneen on the way to the line in the blue. Dickinson from Bolso in the orange. Dickinson pushing on here. He's going to take the time through the line. Kneen kicking in hard with 7.4 watts per kilo as well. Dickinson setting a new PB. Orrell's on his way in here. Rich Orrell goes through the line. And Rich getting the confetti cannon as well. And just keep it an eye. Dunn's our next rider in through the line from Glasgow. Couriers hammering his way in and through. I'm just going to take a look. I think Crawley's the next rider in and through with Whitehead. Whitehead setting a new PB there with Crawley. And then it's going to be Catley on his way into the line. He's our next rider. He's got Bryce Smithy behind him. And it looks like Catley's going to hold off Smithy for 6 seconds here. So Catley goes in and through, and I think Bryce Smithy has got company. Andy Horsey is going to take it from Bryce Smithy here. So Horsey goes through, gets a PB. Then it's Bryce Smithy and Lone Rider behind. That's our next 3 riders through. We're going to drop across to Morn. Morn comes through just behind them. And then it's going to be West, our next rider into the line. 4.5 watts per kilo across the line. And another PB, 7 minutes 55. And you'll notice some of these riders with a really fast PB. Faster than some of the riders in front because they've gone from the back of the group to the front of the group. Always a great trick. Saves you plenty of time. Chris Hesseltine, James on his way in. Is Chris going to set a PB this time? He does as well. 9:41 for Chris. Gary from the Muscle Mechanic. I'm not sure he's pushing on enough to get that PB. Will he do it? Will the confetti cannon come out? Not this time. Now, Ben Donahue on his way. It's going to be good to see Mr. Donahue on his way. Another of our fantastic regular riders comes in and through. And it's going to be Evans. He's our next rider who's on his way. They're in 1s and 2s now, but most of our riders on to the climb at the moment. So Evans on his way in to the gantry in underneath the top of the hill very shortly. Here he goes. 3.6 watts per kilo as he hits the line. That's great effort at the top of the hill. Next up is going to be Mr. Pritchard leading, I think, Mike Killingsworth in here. So it's Pritchard, Killingsworth, and I think it's going to be Beefy from Cycleways. That's Mr. Bell on his way in. So it's Pritchard and Bell here, and Killingsworth, 3 of our absolute regulars. They are here like clockwork, week in, week out. 3 really great guys, all riding together, working together, and really amplifying the chain gang spirit. Fantastic to see, and it looks like at least Colin rewarded with a PB. Next up, we're going to drop back to Maddie Smith. Maddie, who's racing at the weekend on the National Trophy Cyclocross, on her way in. Still kicking out the Watson. Maddie on her way into line, comes through the line, holding the jersey as she does so. Now, next up is going to be Crichton and Bennett. I think it's going to be Crichton's going to be our next rider, about to hit the line. He's just onto that flatter section. You just see it's dropping now in terms of gradient, and that is going to make things a little bit easier. 9:31 last time. Let's see if he's going to be 9 minutes 31 this time around. I'm not sure that's going to be the case as he comes around here. So Crichton, the next rider in towards the line, in underneath the gantry at the top of Boxhill. 3 times up Boxhill here to celebrate the Monsal Hillclimb, which would have been on Sunday. And as Crichton comes in and through the line, pushing on his way on in, and that time not beating his fastest time that time round. Just going to take a little bit of a look. I think Barry Kipling's leading the group, another of the Donny Chaingangers who is out racing at the weekend on the cross. A very different effort this time round as Bennett now comes around the side, and I think it's going to be Bennett who's going to take the lead in here. Kipling trying to answer it with a big kick here, but it is going to be a Bennett then. Oh, look at this. Kipling's going to, is he going to do? Oh, not quite that time. So it is Bennett Kipling setting a new PB for Kipling. No, it looks like Bennett there, Ted getting there in an absolutely storming time, going a little bit off base there. Just going to take a look back. Bayliss is through as well, and we're just going to drop back because I think our next rider, it's likely to be Martin Bolt, our Red Beacon, who's absolutely flown up the climb this time round. So Martin Bolt coming through. We still have about 5 riders out on the course. So Bolt on his way in towards the line here. He's about 27 seconds clear of Giulio Leonardo, who's just on the way through. So J. Leo not too far behind. Ron about 30 seconds. Going to have some company with Miller in a second, I think. So on his way in, it is Martin Bolt coming in and through the line. As Martin set a PB, he has that fantastic to see. UPB for our Red Beacon, the evergreen Martin Bolt. Next up is going to be Julie, who's on her way up round into that descent, those sweeping left turns that bring you in and line you up with the gantry. Now kicking out 3.5, 3.8 watts per kilo, and pushing on here, and just trying to set a PB, no doubt, on the way round. Let's see if that's going to happen. I know she's saying she's going to take it steady, but that's not always going to be the case. Another of the regular riders from the Boxhill Donny area goes in and through. So well done to Julie. Next up is going to be Miller. Miller's going to come through the line. Our next rider, and Julie has got the Boxhill jersey. It's going to be Miller, our next rider in and through, and 2.2 watts per kilo. Carl Johnson out on the climb along with Sanderson still, and Carl just going to take the right hand turn. It's pretty tough stuff on this section, and Carl not on his usual bike, something a little bit lighter tonight to give him an advantage on the hill. Carl, another of our riders with Popeye arms on his avatar. So just top up the old energy levels with a bit of OTE. I've killed all the coffee, it's all gone, don't worry. On his way in his Carl, and great to see Carl, another of our regulars, riding consistently on the chain gang and improving all the time, and a very tough course today. 3 times up Boxhill, 2.5 laps of the London Loop plus Boxhill. Brutal stuff, and certainly looking really good at the moment. And you can just see that he's now going to go into that descent, start picking up some speed. Currently 2 watts per kilo on his way in. And as we go overhead with Carl, he's going to be heading in. He's soon going to be able to see that gantry coming in front of him. And when he does, that's going to mean it's going to be top of this section. The ride obviously continues onwards. If you've not been on the ride, there is a little bit of warm down always thrown into the end of the ride. And that just makes life a little bit easier for the commentary teams to track back, as well as making sure everybody continues and does a little bit of warm down. We found a number of our chain gangers weren't warming down, but Carl knows the score. He's going to be taking it easy now. You can just see dropping off the revs there on his way through, dropping off the power, and going to be cruising his way into the finish of the ride. Now Sanderson out on the climb at the moment. So I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's on the chain gang. Apologies for the late start today on the broadcast. I mean, it's going to come out as a recording rather than a stream. This is one of the reasons we were looking for donations, to be brutally honest, because the more your donations come in, the easier it is for us to sort out multiple streaming. The tech to do so, you'd be surprised just how complicated it really is to get this out on multiple streams. But it does mean that if one platform, which is where we normally stream the content, fails, it'll go on another one. It's definitely high on our priority list to ensure that you keep on getting that, so that you can watch it on maybe Instagram or on Facebook Live, as well as on YouTube. And that tech hopefully won't be too far away, probably coming in a couple of weeks time, to be able to knit all that together. Don't forget, of course, we're going to be back on Thursday for something that's just a little bit flatter. We're going to be back on Greater London Flat, a very popular circuit. We're expecting big numbers out on Thursday, and great for getting those groups to come back together again. So on the Down in Cycling Chaingang, we've had some great riding, some very strong rides from our riders who have been out there putting it down. Great to see that group reform to get around lap number one and pull everything together. Around lap number two, we were pulling it all together pretty much as it came in. It wasn't too separated out for what was two climbs of Boxhill. Certainly think the Pro Peloton was separated by more on its way through, but now our riders on the way back down through. Most of our riders finished, still one or two riders out there just watching Sanderson at the moment on the climb, and making their way up towards the summit. I think it is Phil Bones at Sanderson, so good to see Bones in action. And now up on to the climb proper, about 2/3 of the way up the climb, so a little bit more pedalling to go to get up and over the top. Don't forget, of course, to look after our sponsors and the people who support Russ and Down in Cycling, people like Grand Tour Coffee, just up there. Mallorca Cycling, where of course we're going to be going with the Donny Chaingang. Russ leading some rides in Mallorca with Mallorca Cycling over in May. So make sure you go onto the Facebook page to have a look at that. Massive thank you to OTE. Kept me fueled up all night long. Keeps me going on the rides as well. Halo, of course, for the wheels that keep Russ rolling. To Zwift, without their processing power, without the wonderful platform that we have, we can't bring you all the action. To HMT Hospitals, who do the business, not just with this, but the Monsal Hillclimb as well. 1080, Ian Taylor and all the team over in Norwich for anything you want Oakley related. Great bike shop and great guys. Massive thank you to Wahoo, who keep Russ rolling. To Muck-Off, keeping all of the bikes clean. Arcross bikes here at Full Speed events, as well as all of the Down in Cycling wheels as well. A massive thank you to Oakley, and as I said, that Oakley August brought to you by 1080. Absolutely storming competition. We've got lots more giveaways, lots more to put your way as we roll into the winter and keep people together. We've been holding back a little bit just in case we did find ourselves back in lockdown. We all needed something to do, cheer ourselves up. A big thank you to the guys at Pinarello for looking after Russ, to all the guys, to Rich at the Bag Company Brewing and Distilling Company, Bagco, of course, with some great brews out there as well. Don't forget, you can catch up with everything on the Facebook page. That is the Donny Chaingang page. Don't forget, of course, all these riders here and able to watch it on the Down in Cycling YouTube channel. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, and make sure you give us a follow on Facebook as well. Don't forget, you can catch up with me, Matt Payne, on the Crosscast. We've had to delay Crosscast, the next programme in Series 4 of the Crosscast podcast, because I'm disappearing off and I'm not able to do the commentary and record that at the same time. So we're going to be bringing you the Chain Gang on Thursday, then I'm going to be disappearing off and probably going to be doing a Crosscast broadcast out to you, in the podcast coming to you at the early part of the following week. Just got to keep fingers crossed that I make it back into the country in one piece. In the meantime, of course, lots more action to come, lots of cyclocross, lots of road, lots of track, lots of mountain bike, and of course the Donny Chaingang are up and running. Make sure you give it a follow, get those links downloaded, and get yourselves out on the bike. I'm looking forward to bringing you all of the action as we go back to London on Thursday, and on Thursday we'll be around the Greater London Flat Loop, super fast course, the underpass. All that tends to split the group apart when it comes to the finale, and that is where we're going to be keeping our closest eye on the front. But of course we'll be trying to bring in all of the groups that come in, as you'll have seen tonight, and we try and cover every single rider all the way in to the finish. And just approaching the finish, it's our next rider. Let's go across to Bones out on the course. This is Sanderson, who is out on the course at the moment, and just onto the final steep section here. And it is Phil just rolling up onto the top of the climb here. It's going to be around this left-hand turn, the gradient just dropping off. You can just see on the right-hand side there, time to grab a bottle, keep hydrated, and there's going to be those 40k underneath the wheels. So they're going to be rolling off down the far side and getting a little bit of a warm down on the way down, and going to be an hour 25, hour 26 effort for Phil. Well done, Phil. Great to see you in action, and he can see the gantry coming up very shortly indeed. It's going to be around the next left-hand turn. So well done to Phil. Well done to everybody who's been out in action, who's been out and riding. Big congratulations to the riders up at the front of the groups, those people who got a great workout tonight. Remember, it's the Donny Chaingang, Downey Cycling, bringing you all of the action. Myself, Matt Payne, putting words to the action. So as Phil Sanderson takes himself to go warm down. From me, Matt Payne, from Russ Downing, from Dean, and all of the team at Downing Cycling, keep it rubber side down. We'll see you on Thursday for another Donny Chaingang.